The unmasking. 7 signs of evil exposed through a Stoic lens. Evil, a concept that continues to evade precise definition despite our best efforts to comprehend it, takes center stage in Stoic philosophy. We are constantly encouraged to understand human nature and to approach all things with unwavering calmness. However, when we speak of evil, its presence is often more readily felt than defined. A malicious individual doesn't necessarily need to explicitly declare their nature, as the inherent cruelty and harm they harbor will inevitably manifest. Upon encountering evil, a visceral feeling will emerge, a recognition from the heart that precedes any logical analysis by the mind. What makes this truly frightening is that evil people can appear in the most unexpected places. They are not confined to dark alleys or unfamiliar territories. As unsettling as it is, they can reside in the very spaces we consider safe: schools, churches, places of worship, and even within the homes of our closest friends. More often than not, their true nature is shrouded behind a facade of normalcy, making detection difficult until it's tragically too late. This essay, drawing upon Stoic wisdom and infused with original observations, will unveil 7 telltale signs that evil individuals exhibit when they become aware that you have seen through their deceptive charade. By understanding and preparing for these signs, we can equip ourselves to face such individuals with calmness and unwavering resolve. Sign 1. Crafting a new reputation. The art of deception. If you've ever encountered someone and instinctively felt that they were ruled by demons, you were likely mistaken. The truth is, humans are capable of far greater evil than we often imagine. They are skilled masters of concealing their true nature, so much so that it can take years to uncover the malice they have been secretly harboring. But do not blame yourself for this. Evil people are often masters of manipulation. They will stop at nothing to exploit others to achieve their personal goals, hoarding everything they desire and leaving a trail of broken individuals in their wake. Such individuals exist all around us, and you may encounter them, dismissing them as merely bad people. However, their nature extends far beyond simple bad behavior. They're the very embodiment of deceit and cruelty. Evil individuals don't just employ trivial tricks to achieve their goals. They are incredibly cunning in controlling how others perceive them. When they realize that you have uncovered their true nature, their initial reaction is never to face the truth or to admit their wrongdoings. Instead, they will find a way to alter your perception of them, to rewrite the narrative of their character. They understand the immense power of reputation and social perception, and they will dedicate themselves to rebuilding their image in a newer, more sophisticated way. Imagine knowing someone who has earned a reputation for bad behavior in your community, someone who has repeatedly hurt and mistreated others. When this individual realizes that you have seen through them, they won't simply avoid you. They will approach you with an entirely fabricated story. They will vehemently deny the past you know to be true, sometimes even blaming circumstances or other people, adding layers of complexity to the story to make it more difficult to grasp. It's like watching a perfectly staged play, where they assume the role of the misunderstood victim who desperately needs your sympathy and forgiveness. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent philosophers of Stoicism, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Evil individuals understand that if they can successfully manipulate your thoughts about them, they can control not only how you treat them, but also how you perceive the truth itself. The attempt to change their reputation is a tactic employed to evade responsibility for their actions and to continue their negative influence undetected. A specific example of this can be seen in the workplace or in your personal life. You may have worked alongside a colleague who is widely known for backstabbing and cheating to get ahead. But once they realize that you have uncovered this side of them, they will immediately shift their approach toward you. They might start talking incessantly about how they've changed, about the immense difficulties they've faced, and how they have now become a completely different person. But remember, this is nothing more than a carefully constructed lie, a thin veil intended to conceal their true nature and to sow doubt in your mind. Evil individuals don't just seek to protect their image. They want you to believe that you have completely misunderstood them. As they present a new, fabricated story and a new reputation, it's not because they are genuinely remorseful, but rather a way to lure you into a state of confusion, making you start to doubt your own perceptions. Your initial confidence about their true nature will gradually erode, and before you even realize it, you may have fallen into their trap, believing the fictional story they've so cleverly constructed. This doesn't just leave you feeling confused. It also weakens your ability to judge and resist their influence. In such situations, Stoic philosophy advises us to maintain a clear mind, to focus on the truth, and not to allow fleeting emotions to distract us. That's why, when faced with individuals trying to change their reputation, it's crucial to remember that this is not a sign of real change, but a sophisticated effort to conceal their evil and continue their manipulative game. Sign 2. Emanating strange vibrations, the unsettling feeling. Evil people don't just attempt to change their reputation. They also emit strange signals that make you feel profoundly uncomfortable. Sometimes, simply being in their presence will cause you to feel that something is inherently wrong, a strange feeling that creeps in and that you can't quite put your finger on. Pay close attention to this signal, as it may be your next clue to the true nature they're desperately trying to conceal. Vibrations, in this sense, refer to the emotions, senses, and energy that we unconsciously receive from our surroundings. Everything around us is composed of energy, including our own bodies. When we experience a particular emotion or sensation, it occurs when we unconsciously absorb frequencies through our interactions with our energy fields. While this explanation may strike some as vague, there is clear scientific evidence supporting the idea that energy and vibrations can strongly influence how we perceive and understand the world around us. These vibrations are particularly evident in our relationships with others, especially when we find ourselves face-to-face with individuals harboring malicious intent. Their energy often becomes more noticeable and profoundly uncomfortable once they realize that we have recognized their true nature. This isn't just about outward behavior. It also encompasses an inner perception. The vibrations and the negative energy they project when trying to maintain control, invade privacy, and create a pervasive sense of insecurity are hard to ignore. When malicious individuals know you've seen through their toxic behavior, they will inevitably begin to change their attitude and act in increasingly strange ways. One of the first things you'll notice is a distinct shift in how you feel about them, an unsettling change in the atmosphere that you can't quite ignore. Their behavior will no longer feel natural, appearing more calculated and forced. These individuals will try to make your life more difficult, particularly if they wield some form of authority or hold a higher position than you in a work or social relationship. This strange vibration is not simply a feeling of insecurity, but a clear sign that they are attempting to create an uncomfortable space where you feel constantly threatened or controlled. They might begin invading your privacy, asking unnecessary personal questions, or excessively monitoring your behavior. This behavior stems from their fundamental lack of understanding and respect for boundaries. When they sense that their power is being challenged, they will go to great lengths to re-establish control, regardless of the feelings or needs of others. In the context of Stoic philosophy, this can be explained by the principle of mastering emotions and maintaining composure in difficult situations. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." When you sense strange vibrations from others, it's important not to let these feelings invade your mind and weaken your calm resolve. Recognize their behavior as defensive reactions rooted in their fear of losing control or having their true nature exposed. By maintaining calmness and mindfulness, you won't be easily drawn into their manipulative schemes. On the contrary, you can use this unsettling feeling as a tool to see through the situation and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Toxic individuals often have no limits in their attempts to control you, but you always have the power to choose how to respond. Instead of retaliating or feeling pressure to conform to their demands, remember that calmness and wisdom are the most powerful weapons you can use to handle this situation. Sign 3. Weaving webs of deceit. Lies covering past lies. A lie, in its essence, is akin to a sophisticated web, one that the weaver can never truly escape. Each time a lie is told, a new thread is added, gradually creating a complex and intricate structure in which the weaver themselves may become hopelessly trapped. Wicked people, once they become aware that the truth has been revealed, do not attempt to untangle this web of lies. Instead, they will continue to spin new threads of deceit, desperately hoping that they will effectively cover up all traces of the truth. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." When someone actively tries to defend their lies, they inevitably lock themselves into a vicious cycle of deception and ignorance, forevermore unable to see the illuminating light of truth. In our everyday lives, we all encounter lies, and sometimes each of us tells a lie or two ourselves. Research has shown that on average, a person lies once or twice a day. These lies are often harmless, such as trying to maintain a relationship by avoiding hurtful truths. In fact, one study revealed that 59% of adults lie at least once, and up to 5 times a day, and men tend to lie more often than women. However, not all lies are created equal. There's a world of difference between telling small lies to avoid causing harm and telling egregious lies to manipulate and deceive. There are small, harmless lies, such as avoiding negative comments about someone's new hairstyle, but there are also more serious lies, such as hiding an affair or other major secrets. What truly distinguishes the wicked, however, lies in the very nature of the lies they create. Unlike lies told to protect the feelings of others or to maintain relationships, these individuals lie primarily to protect themselves, to cover up their wrongdoings and evade accountability. When a lie is discovered, instead of facing the truth and accepting the consequences, they will choose to deny it and continue constructing more elaborate stories to justify the initial lie. They create an endless loop of deception, with each new lie being a futile attempt to protect something they know can no longer be concealed. This not only reflects profound dishonesty, but also signals a mentality that is inherently fearful and weak in the face of truth. These people, instead of admitting their mistakes and seeking to make amends, will choose the dangerous path of deceit. This is a betrayal not only of those who trust them, but also of themselves. Deep down, they are fully aware that each new lie only distances them further from the truth, sinking them deeper into a pit of deceit. This inevitably undermines trust and damages relationships, making the betrayal that much harder to forgive. The wicked, however, cannot stop. They are hopelessly trapped in their own web of lies, with no escape in sight but to face the truth, something they dare not do. Even when caught red-handed, they will continue to lie, stubbornly believing that new lies can somehow salvage the situation. It is difficult to stay calm when a loved one is actively hiding the truth from you, regardless of whether it's a small or a big lie, because trust has been broken, and trust, once lost, is incredibly hard to rebuild. For the wicked, breaking trust is never accidental. It's a strategic move, a premeditated method of protecting their personal interests, regardless of the consequences for others. Such actions are not only morally wrong, but also demonstrate a profound irresponsibility toward the feelings of others. Wicked individuals often lack the ability to appreciate and respect the value of truth because they are so used to manipulating reality to their advantage. Truth is not something they revere, but merely a tool they can bend to serve their own purposes. This makes them fundamentally untrustworthy, and once trust is destroyed, it is difficult, if not impossible, to restore. Sign 4. Convenient appearances, the self-serving companion. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. B1. This powerful quote by Marcus Aurelius reminds us that actions inevitably speak louder than words, and this holds particularly true when dealing with toxic individuals. When facing such individuals, the truth will eventually come to light as you recognize their true nature. One of the most obvious behaviors you'll notice in these people is that they only show up when they have something to gain. Especially once they realize they've uncovered their real selves, they will cease playing the role of sincere companions. Instead, they will only come to you when they desperately need something and will disappear the moment you need them most. Prior to discovering their true character, they may have seemed like reliable allies, always present when needed, and showing every sign of care and concern. However, as you begin to see the darker side of their personality, everything will inevitably change. They will only appear when they have personal interests to pursue and will vanish the moment there is no longer any benefit to be gained. Their behavior is closely akin to that of mere opportunists in life. They never invest genuinely in relationships, but are always calculating what they can get from you. Once there's nothing more to be gained, they will disappear without a second thought, showing absolutely no regard for your feelings or your needs. For these individuals, reappearing after you've managed to resolve your issues is a common tactic. After you've pulled yourself up following a difficult time, they will return with profuse apologies, flimsy excuses, and the hope that you'll easily forgive them and welcome them back into your life with open arms. They will take advantage of your inherent kindness and forgiving nature to seamlessly resume the relationship as if nothing had ever happened. However, if you refuse to let them back in, they will swiftly stop showing up regularly, unless, of course, they need something from you again. Such people never truly change. They don't genuinely care about you, but only care about what they can extract from the relationship. The story of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus serves as another powerful illustration of how people can be exploited by those who are insincere and only appear when they need help. As a devoted follower of the philosophy of self-control and patience, Epictetus had many students who came to learn from him. Among them was one student who appeared extremely loyal and devoted, always showering him with praise and eager to please him. Whenever he needed advice or help with personal issues, this student would often seek out Epictetus and receive useful guidance. However, when Epictetus needed help in a difficult situation, a practical lesson he wanted the student to walk with him through, that student vanished without a trace. Once the challenging situation had passed and Epictetus had overcome it entirely on his own, the student suddenly reappeared with a string of excuses, pretending as if they had never been absent or irresponsible. Epictetus, with his innate wisdom, understood clearly that this student didn't truly care for him, but only sought him out when there was a personal benefit to be gained. He did not let these meaningless excuses and fake behavior disturb his inner peace. From this story, we can learn that recognizing the true nature of others and knowing when our kindness is being exploited is essential to protect our inner peace. Stoic philosophy advises us not to let such individuals affect our lives and mental well-being. They do not come to us with sincere hearts, but only with calculation in mind. A wise person recognizes this and does not allow their kindness to be taken advantage of. Rather than feeling hurt or angered by their sudden disappearance, view it as an opportunity to free yourself from unhealthy relationships. Remember the timeless teachings of Marcus Aurelius. Be good and act according to your philosophy, no matter how others behave. This helps us maintain inner peace and avoid being caught up in others' emotional games. When they realize you've seen through their nature, they will inevitably appear less frequently in your life. But there's no need to feel any regret or anger, because their absence is ultimately a gift, allowing you to focus on more G. In relationships. Sign 5. Diminishing your worth, the attempt to stifle. One of the primary tactics that narcissists and malicious individuals frequently use to achieve their goals is to make others feel inferior and foolish, to undermine their confidence, and to manipulate their self-perception. Imagine confiding in someone you love about a particularly challenging issue you're facing, only to hear responses like, "Oh, you should have seen that coming," or "Why did you do that in the first place?" These seemingly harmless remarks can leave you feeling heavy and pained. You expected empathy and understanding, but instead, you're overwhelmed with feelings of shame, blaming yourself for not seeing something obvious. In that precise moment, They have successfully achieved their goal of making you feel stupid, isolated, and small. This is how malicious individuals strategically find ways to belittle you, causing you to doubt your abilities and making it easier for them to manipulate and control you. Stoics firmly believe that all actions should stem from reason and virtue. Thus, those who intentionally hurt others through mockery and mental abuse not only demonstrate a profound lack of virtue, but also violate the very Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature. They deliberately create situations where you're constantly questioning yourself, wondering if you truly understand life, relationships, or even yourself. These words and actions are not simply casual insults. They are part of a meticulous and deliberate strategy to undermine your confidence and to make you feel dependent on them. The most frightening aspect of this tactic is when you actually start doubting yourself, questioning your judgment, and losing faith in your abilities. When you feel weak and insecure, you're more likely to seek validation from the very person who is hurting you. This is a way for them to reestablish control. They do this not because they genuinely value the relationship, but because they want you to remain within their sphere of influence, where they can continue manipulating you from where they left off. How would Stoic philosophy, which places a strong emphasis on controlling one's own reactions, view this situation? When faced with insulting words or attempts to make you feel foolish, a Stoic would not allow themselves to be drawn into the mental game. Instead, they would remind themselves that their true value doesn't come from others' opinions, but from inner understanding and self-respect. A Stoic might ask, why should I allow myself to be diminished by the meaningless words of someone who lacks kindness? Rather than reacting with anger or hurt, they would step back and assess the situation from a rational distance, like a neutral observer. It is this calmness and unshakable demeanor that becomes the most powerful weapon against toxic individuals. They may try their hardest to make you feel foolish, but they only succeed if you accept and believe it. Stoicism advises us to focus on what we can control, and what we can always control is our response to others' behavior. Malicious individuals want you to react emotionally, to lose your composure, but a strong Stoic spirit will not allow that to happen. Moreover, their attempt to make you feel foolish is not just a form of punishment. It is a way to distance you from your own confidence and inner strength. When you believe you're inadequate, you're more likely to become dependent on them, constantly seeking their approval. But the truth is, this dependence only robs you of autonomy and real happiness. Sign 6. Playing ignorance, the art of dodging accountability. Have you ever stopped to wonder how you can effectively recognize someone who is deliberately hiding their true nature? This is an important question to ask because, in life, not everyone around us is always honest and clear about who they truly are. When a bad person is finally exposed, they will often choose a cunning and manipulative strategy to cope, pretending that they have absolutely no idea about the devastating consequences their actions have caused. They will play the victim or act incredibly naive, expressing utter surprise at what has happened, as if they were entirely unaware of the harm they've inflicted on others. According to Stoic philosophy, a person's true nature is not judged solely by their actions, but also by how they react when placed in difficult situations. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." In this case, bad people will exploit the interpretations and emotions of others, turning their wrongdoings into a complex psychological game full of deceit. When exposed, these individuals will often act as if they were entirely unaware that their actions caused harm. This is not merely an attempt to avoid responsibility. It is a form of manipulation. They will create a false pretense of innocence to make you doubt your own feelings and experiences. For example, they might sarcastically ask, "Why didn't you say earlier that you were hurt?" This is their subtle way of shifting the blame directly onto you, even though it's abundantly clear that they were the ones at fault. When confronted with such behavior, you may inevitably feel confused and angry, struggling to reconcile their actions with their feigned ignorance. These bad individuals will not only deny responsibility for their actions, but also actively try to erase the truth that you courageously confronted. Even if you've expressed your feelings directly to them multiple times, they will continue to ask, "Why didn't you tell me?" This constant repetition serves not just to avoid taking responsibility, but also to diminish your worth and invalidate your emotions, making you feel like you're overreacting or that the blame is not entirely on them. This is how bad people subtly try to control your emotions and thoughts. They want you to feel wrong, or at the very least, unsure about whether you have the right to judge them. This is an extremely toxic and sophisticated form of manipulation, where the truth is deliberately distorted in a way that makes you feel guilty for being hurt. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of maintaining a strong spirit in such situations. The actions and words of bad people are things we cannot control, but we can always control how we respond. When faced with situations where others deliberately hide or deny their mistakes, it is essential to stay calm and not let them affect your sense of self-worth. When bad people realize that you've seen through them, they will often do everything they can to avoid the truth. They are fundamentally unwilling to take responsibility because doing so means facing the potentially devastating consequences of their harmful actions. Instead of honestly admitting their mistakes, they will diligently play the role of the innocent, trying to justify that they didn't know their behavior caused any harm. When you confront them, they will try to twist and distort the truth to make you feel confused and unsure about your own experience. Such behavior is not only deceitful, but also a sign of deep disrespect for you, a denial of the truth, and a devaluation of your emotions. These bad people know that once you start doubting yourself, they can continue acting without worrying about the consequences. In facing this challenging situation, the lessons from Stoic philosophy are invaluable. You don't need to change yourself or try to please such people. What's truly important is that you hold firm to your values and your belief in what is right. Don't ever let them make you doubt the truth you know to be self-evident. Self-control and steadfastness in spirit are what will help you overcome the challenges they pose. Sign 7. Mastering manipulation, the subtle art of control. If someone is actively manipulating you, they are attempting to control how you act and to strip away your ability to think independently. This insidious tactic not only negatively affects your relationship with them, but also impacts your relationships with others and your overall mental health. Manipulation is a subtle form of intrusion, not limited to overt deceptive actions, but often hidden behind a seemingly innocent facade of care and kindness. Manipulators will use emotional tricks to control you, putting you in a vulnerable position and making it easier for them to dominate not just your thoughts, but also your will and your actions. This happens because manipulators often possess a high level of emotional intelligence, a powerful tool that helps them deeply understand others' emotions and thoughts. However, instead of using their emotional intelligence to build healthy and mutually beneficial relationships, they will exploit it as a psychological weapon to identify your weaknesses and then take insidious advantage of them. These could be your hidden anxieties, feelings of insecurity, or deeply held personal goals you pursue with all your heart. Drawing from these vulnerabilities, the manipulator will persuade you to give up what is truly important to you, gradually making you dependent on them for validation and support. Manipulation is not always easy to recognize. It can disguise itself in many deceptive forms, sometimes even as seemingly kind and helpful acts. You might find someone who is always ready to listen, understand, and appear deeply concerned about your emotions. However, if they don't truly intend to help you, but instead aim to achieve something for themselves, these seemingly selfless actions become a form of sophisticated manipulation. This kind of ostentatious help often makes you feel indebted to them, leading you to believe they're the only person you can truly rely on, thus slowly drawing you into their control without you even realizing it. When dealing with a manipulative person, it is crucial to establish firm boundaries and to adhere to them consistently. Boundaries are not only a way to protect yourself from manipulative behavior, but also a means to maintain your core values and your personal autonomy. This means being acutely self-aware, knowing your limits, and not allowing anyone to violate them or pressure you into doing something you're uncomfortable with. The manipulator, with a keen understanding of emotions, will inevitably try to bend your boundaries, subtly testing their limits and gradually encroaching upon your personal space. They may attempt to convince you that giving up something small is no big deal and that you need to rely on them for safety or happiness. But in Stoic philosophy, true happiness does not come from external factors. It is derived from the inner control of the mind, from the ability to maintain your composure and to live in accordance with your values. When you allow someone to manipulate you, you're essentially giving up your personal freedom and handing them the power to control your life. This is something a Stoic philosopher would never accept, as it goes directly against the very principles of living freely and independently. One common manipulation tactic is making you feel entirely dependent on them. The manipulator might try to convince you that you simply cannot handle problems on your own and that only they truly understand you and can offer you the help you so desperately need. But the truth is, once you fall into the trap of manipulation, you will gradually lose the ability to make sound decisions, become completely independent, and severely diminish your self-confidence. Manipulators will continue to exploit you until you completely lose your sense of autonomy, effectively becoming a part of their twisted power game. In this situation, escaping is not easy, but it is certainly not impossible. Remember, manipulators will not give up easily. They will continue to find creative ways to keep you under their control, using every trick in the book to make you doubt your own abilities and your decisions. The important thing is to keep affirming yourself, to hold firm to the boundaries you've diligently set, and not allow anyone to cross them. You simply cannot control the behavior of others, but you can absolutely control how you respond to them. And that is your true strength, a power that no one can ever take away from you unless you willingly allow them to do so. We have embarked on a journey to explore 7 common behaviors of toxic individuals when they realize that you have uncovered their true nature. Through identifying these subtle signs, you could develop a keen awareness of the hidden intentions behind their outward appearances and effectively protect yourself from their negative influences. Stoic philosophy teaches us that maintaining calmness and self-control in all circumstances is the key to overcoming any challenge. No one can truly hurt us if we know how to protect our minds and maintain our steadfast patience. Remember, toxic people will always try to control and manipulate you, but your real strength lies in not allowing them to affect your inner peace. By arming yourself with this knowledge and cultivating the virtues of Stoicism, you can navigate the complexities of human interactions with wisdom, resilience, and unwavering self-assurance.